I'm Jeremy. Today's day 273 of reading. Today I'm reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Let's get started. Sorry for not posting. Let's go. We are on page 365 and we're on the second paragraph. Well, technically first, but also the second. Anyways, let's go. Harry helped himself to food. He had almost forgotten what it was like to feel properly hungry and sat down with Ron and Hermione. He couldn't believe how happy he felt. He had Ron back on his side. He'd gotten through the first test, and he wouldn't have to face the second one for 3 months. "Blummy, this is heavy," said Lee Jordan, picking up the golden egg, which Harry had left on a table, and weighing it in his hands. "Open it, Harry. Go on, let's just see what's inside it." Harry's supposed to work out the clue on his own, Hermione said swiftly. "It's in the tournament rules." "I was supposed to work out how to get past the dragon on my own, too," Harry muttered, so only Hermione could hear him, and she grinned at him rather guiltily. "Yeah, go on, Harry, open it," several people echoed. Lee Jordan passed Harry the egg, and Harry dug his fingernails into the groove that ran all the way around it and prized it open. It was hollow and completely empty. But the moment Harry opened it, the most horrible noise, a loud and screechy wailing, filled the room. The nearest thing to Harry had ever heard was the ghost orchestra at Nearly Headless Nick's Death Day party, who had all been playing the musical song. "Shut it!" Fred bellowed, his hands over his ears. "What was that?" said Seamus Finnegan, staring at the egg as Harry slammed it shut again. "Sounded like a banshee." "Maybe you've got to get past one of those, Harry." "It was someone being tortured," said Neville, who had gotten very white and spilled sausage roll all over the floor. "You're going to have to fight the Cretaceous curse." "Don't be a prat, Neville. That's illegal," said George. "They wouldn't use a Cretaceous curse on the champions." "I thought it sounded a bit like Percy singing." "Maybe you've got to attack him while he's in the shower, Harry." "Want a jam tart, Hermione?" said Fred. Hermione looked doubtfully at the plate he was offering her. Fred grinned. "It's all right," he said. "I haven't done anything to them. It's custard creams you've got to watch." Neville, who had just bitten into custard cream, choked and spat it out. Fred laughed. "Just my little joke, Neville." Hermione took a jam tart. Then she said, "Did you get all this from the kitchens, Fred?" "Yup," said Fred, grinning at her. He put on a high-pitched squeak and imitated a house elf. "Anything we can get you, sir?" "Anything at all. They're dead helpful. Get me a roast ox if I said I was peckish." "How do you get in there?" Hermione said in an innocently casual sort of way. "Easy. Conceal," said Fred. "Concealed door behind a painting of a bowl of fruit. Just tickle the pear." And he giggles and he stopped and looked suspiciously at her. "Why?" "Nothing," said Hermione. "House elves? Going to try and lead the house elves out on a strike now, are you?" said George. "Going to give up all of their leaflet stuff and try to stir them up into rebellion?" Several people chortled. Hermione didn't answer. "Don't you go upsetting them and telling them they've got to take clothes and salaries," said Fred warningly. "You'll put them off their cooking." Just then, Neville caused a slight diversion by turning into a large canary. "Oh, sorry, Neville," Fred shouted over all the laughter. "I forgot. It was the custard creams we asked." Within a minute, however, Neville had molted, and once his feathers had fallen off, he reappeared looking entirely normal. He even joined in, laughing. "Canary creams," Fred shouted at the excitable crowd. "George and I invented them. 7 sickles each. A bargain." It was nearly 1 a.m. when Harry finally went up to the dormitory with Ron, Neville, and Seamus, and Dean. Before he pulled the curtain of his four-poster shut, Harry set his tiny model of the Hungarian horntail on the table next to his bed, where it yawned, curled up, and closed its eyes. Really, Harry thought, as he pulled the hangings on his four-poster closed. Hagrid had a point. They were all right. Really, dragons. The start of December brought wind and sleet to Hogwarts. Drafting through the castle always was the winter. Harry was glad of its fires and thick walls every time he passed the Durmstrang ships on the lake, which was pitching in the high winds, its black sails billowing against the dark skies. He thought the Bucksbannon's caravan was likely to be pretty chilly, too. Hagrid, he noticed, was keeping Monomoxine horses well provided with their preferred drink of single malt whiskey. The fumes wafting from the trough in the corner of their paddock was enough to make the entire care of magical creatures class lightheaded. This was unhelpful, as they were still tending to the horrible Scroots and needed their wits about them. I'm not sure whether they hibernate or not, Hagrid told the shivering class in the windy pumpkin patch next lesson. Thought we'd just try and see if they're fancy to kip. We'll just settle them down in these boxes. There were now only 10 Scroots left. Apparently their desire to kill one another had not been exorcised out of them. Each of them, was now approaching 6 feet in length. Their thick gray armor, their powerful scuttling legs, their fire-blasting ends, their stings and their suckers, combined to make the Scroots the most repulsive thing Harry had ever seen. The class looked dispiritedly at the enormous boxes Hagrid had just brought out, all lined with pillows and fluffy blankets. We'll just lead him in there, Hagrid said, and put the lids on, and we'll see what happens. But the Scroots, it transpired, did not hibernate and did not appreciate being forced into pillow-lined boxes and nailed in. Hagrid was soon yelling, "Don't panic! Now don't panic!" while the Scroots rampaged around the pumpkin patch, now strewn with the smoldering wreckage of the boxes. Most of the class, Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle in the lead, had fled into Hagrid's cabin through the back door and barricaded themselves in. Harry, Ron, and Hermione, however, were among those who remained outside, trying to help Hagrid. Together, they managed to restrain and tie up 9 of the Scroots, though at the cost of numerous burns and cuts. Finally, only 1 Scroot was left. "Don't frighten him now," Hagrid shouted as Ron and Harry used their wands to shoot jets of fiery sparks at the Scroot, which was advancing menacingly on them. Its sting arched, quivering over its back. "Just try and slip the rope round his sting, so he won't hurt any of the others." "Yeah, we wouldn't want that," Ron shouted angrily as he and Harry backed into the wall of Hagrid's cabin, still holding the Scroots off with their sparks. Well, this does look like fun." Rita Skeeter was leaning on Hagrid's garden fence, looking at the mayhem. She was wearing a thick magenta cloak with a furry purple collar today, and a crocodile skin handbag was over her arm. Hagrid launched himself forward on top of the Scroot that was cornering Harry and Ron and flattened it. A blast of fire shot out of its end, withering the pumpkin plants nearby. Who are you?" Hagrid asked Rita Skeeter as he slipped a loop of rope around the Scroot's sting. Hagrid, and tightened it. "Rita Skeeter, Daily Prophet reporter," Rita replied, beaming at him. Her gold teeth glinted. "Thought Dumbledore said you weren't allowed inside the school anymore," said Hagrid, frowning slightly as he got up the slightly squashed Scroot and started tugging it over to its fellows. "Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow." Tomorrow we're going to read page 370. Peace out.